These shots were all graded with Dehancer, and I am by no means a professional colorist, but Dehancer makes it so easy to get these professional looking color grades. I have been using Dehancer for just over a month now, and I've used it on shoots ranging from Calvin Klein spec ads all the way to weddings in the Rocky Mountains. So I wanted to show you guys how easy it was to get these amazing color grades in just minutes. So let's dive in. All right, so here are the shots we're gonna be grading today. I've already clipped the in and out points, so we're gonna jump right over here to the color tab. We're gonna start off, I'm gonna give myself a few nodes here just in case we wanna make some changes. I like to adjust my exposure, not in Dehancer, but today I'm going to be doing that for you guys. We're gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom here. Drag Dehancer on. You're gonna see that it's gonna give us this really weird look to start off with. You can either ignore that, or if you want to, you can scroll all the way to the bottom here. Disable all tools. That's gonna give us this nice clean slate to work with. That's what I always do when I start off. This next part here you can do in two different ways. You can either color space transform in a node before Dehancer, or you can do it right here inside of Dehancer. I'm going to go to choose camera. I shot this on a Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro, Film Gen 5. That's going to bring us more into this Rec 709 look that we can start off with right here. All right, we're gonna go through these tabs here one at a time as we're editing. This first one we're gonna do, the film tab. This is what film type you are choosing to emulate. For films, you can see that they just have a ton of options here. I mean, they've got everything from black and white looks to some crazy sepia tones. For this one, I ended up choosing Kodak Ektar 25. If we move on down here to the print tab, you can see we've got these print profiles, and these are going to make another big change to what our color grade looks like. You got Cine on Film Log. This is going to bring it into the Cine on Film Log color space. This is more for if you want to do further color grade, like color grading after your Dehancer, but we don't want to do that. Then we have a Fujifilm 3513 print film, which I think looks super cool. Kodak 2383. This is what most like feature films are quote unquote printed on. Gives another different look. And the one we're going to use for this one, Kodak Endura Glossy Paper. This is like a photo print paper. And I think this is the one that we're going to use. This is the kind of look we're going for. Film grain, we're going to go with 65mm ISO 50. It defaults usually to like 35mm ISO 250. In this case, it was just too much film grain, but you can go all the way up to 8mm ISO 50 and even customize it. You can, if you hit custom, you can go through and create the most customized film grain you could possibly think of. But we're gonna go back here to 65mm ISO 50. That's what I chose for this one. Halation, that's gonna give you those orange glows around the highlights where the highlights meet your super contrast areas. We don't really have that in this shot, so we're going to disable that. Again, you can go all the way from completely custom 8mm all the way to 65-70mm. Bloom, same sort of thing with that bloom drop down tab here. You can make a very customized version, or you can use some of their emulations. I do have this one enabled for this shot, and that kind of, as you see, gives that nice glow in her skin. Film damage, film breath, gate weave. I never really mess around with these tabs. If we enable this here and we just hit play on our playhead, it's going to give us these scratches and hairs and dust particles that you would see if you were to print on real film. But we're going to disable that. We don't want that. Film breath, same sort of thing. It's very computer intensive. This one is for longer clips. It's going to give us sort of they call it film breath, but I would say it's more just like randomness to your footage. So we're going to leave that. Gate weave we don't need. Overscans are kind of cool. Overscans, if we enable those real quick, they do give you more of like exactly what it says, an overlay almost of different types of film. And it's a super cool look, very stylized. Not something I use very often, but I definitely think that for certain things, it's super cool. Super 35 is my favorite. We're going to disable that. We don't need that one. Vignetting. I love a good vignette. You can even view your mask to see where it's at. And this one, in fact, is in the wrong spot. So we're going to move that down. We're just going to 0-0 this. Let's make it just a touch darker. Not that dark. Too much. There we go. Something like that. Just a subtle little glow. The size just a bit too, I think. Perfect. These last ones I don't use very often, but I'll go through them anyway just to show you guys what they are. False color, IRE. This is going to give you your false color. Just to make sure nothing is super overexposed. I usually do that. If you do it in camera well enough, should never really need to be used. Clipping indication. That's going to show you where the blacks, and if there were any bright white points, it would show those too. Output, you can have sort of this is like an opacity, so you can see. We slide that up and down. If we were to grade like a Rec 709 color space before this node, you would be able to see the effect a little less intensely. LUT generator is super cool. I haven't played with it yet. You can actually create a LUT that you can then input into a monitor. So that way, if you are shooting, you can see what your footage would similar to what it would look like on a final grade. Next, we're going to move on to this clip that has a little bit more colors, more drastic shadows, more highlights. We're going to start off again just by giving ourselves some nodes, dragging Dehancer Pro onto the middle one, scrolling down, disable all the tools, scroll back to the top. We are going to transform this again into black magic. On this one, it's a little dark, so I'm going to boost the exposure just a touch. We're going to go Fuji Color C200, hit enable. So as you see, that's kind of desaturating these reds we had in here. And I really like the way those reds looked. I kind of like the orange just kind of glow on her hand too. So what we can do is we can come down here to Film Developer, and we can take this color boost and just bring it up a little bit. Don't want to go too far because it looks unrealistic, but that just brings back a little bit of color right in these reds and the berries here. This one, we are going to enable film compression, and you can see right in her hands. Check out these highlights on her hands. If we enable this, what it kind of does is compresses, literally film compression. It compresses those highlights down to more of the wide range of what film is able to emulate. And I love the way it looks. I've never been able to find a way to accurately do this without using Dehancer and this film compression. We're going to go down to our print next. And we're going to do Kodak 2383 print film for this. That really darkens up our image. So what we're going to do is come through here and adjust our exposure back. And again, that kind of killed the reds just a little bit. So I'm going to come back in here to color density. Bring that up just a touch. And there we have those. Reds are still red again. Film grain, absolutely. This one I'm going to leave here at 35mm ISO 250. This film shot just kind of gave the vibe of having some more grain. Bloom again. Huge difference right here, especially. Look at this in her sleeve. If we enable bloom, it just gives it that nice glow, and I love the way that looks, so I'm going to keep it. Film damage, film breath, we're going to leave all that. And adding a vignette. I'm a sucker for a good vignette. It's very subtle, but you can see that brings your attention more in on the hands. And that's it. That's how easy it is to get these amazing looking color grades using just Dehancer. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them down in the comments. And if you want to pick up Dehancer for yourself, you can use the link down in the description and use my promo code Logan-10 to get 10% off your purchase. That's it for this one. Leave a like and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more.